Let me start with a truth the powerful have always kept close. A truth they never say out loud, because the moment you understand it, the whole game changes. Emotion is the leash tied around your neck. The more you care, the tighter it pulls. The more you feel, the more control you hand over. People think caring is noble, like it automatically earns them respect or love. But the world doesn't reward emotional depth. It rewards emotional discipline. It belongs to the people who can walk away without flinching, to those who don't collapse when something doesn't go their way, to those who don't let anyone see inside their mind. Caring is a currency. And here's the part no one tells you. The one who spends less holds all the power. The one who can stay calm while everyone else spirals automatically dominates the room. You might think love wins battles, that empathy creates loyalty. But in the real world, detachment wins every time. Fear, respect, unpredictability. These are the currencies people respond to. If you want control, you have to kill the need to be understood. Burn the desire to be liked. Bury that instinct to justify yourself. The less you care, the more others start caring about you. Look carefully at the people who hold real authority in life. It's not the loud ones. It's not the overly kind ones. It's not the ones who gush with emotion. It's the ones who observe more than they speak, who feel less than they reveal, who wait instead of chase. They understand something crucial. Care is weakness when given freely. Care is power only when controlled. Most people are chained by their need for validation, by their need to be accepted, by their need to be approved of. They polish these chains like trophies. They brag about how deeply they feel. But the moment you detach, truly detach, you rise above them instantly. And I don't mean pretending. You can't fake this. People can sense it. I mean detaching so deeply that your piece doesn't move when someone pulls on it. That's when you become untouchable, unreadable, ungovernable. Power always begins with mystery, and mystery is born from emotional distance. When you care less than others, something interesting happens. You create psychological discomfort. They start wondering what you're thinking. They try to decode you. They invest more. They try harder. They fear losing your attention. The dynamic flips. Instead of you chasing answers, they chase your reactions. Instead of you proving your worth, they try to earn your presence. You don't even speak much, they listen anyway. You don't react, they adjust themselves. You don't chase, they move closer. And here's a truth most people never accept. If you want to lead, your heart can never beat faster than your strategy. The person who cares more will always be at the mercy of the person who cares less. Why? Because emotion is leverage. It's something people can pull, poke, twist, or weaponize. But the person who needs nothing approval, attention, affection cannot be manipulated. You can't seduce him with praise. You can't guilt him into submission. You can't bait him into overreacting. That kind of man is powerful because he is unpredictable. He is free. So, what do you do with this truth? You withdraw, but not completely. Power isn't built by disappearing. It's built by being just close enough that people want more, but not close enough that they figure you out. You give warmth, but only enough to spark curiosity. Then you freeze. You make your presence rare. You let your silence feel loud. You allow others to project whatever fantasies they want onto you. People don't fall for you. They fall for what they imagine you are. And when someone invests in their own fantasy, they chase harder than ever. People will call you cruel. Let them. They'll say you're cold. Smile. They'll say you lack empathy. Good. The lion does not pity the lamb. The storm doesn't apologize for the flood. Power isn't earned by being adored. It's claimed by being feared, desired, respected, and never fully understood. When you care too much, people smell it on you. They know exactly where to strike. They know how to guilt trip you. how to bait you, how to make you chase closure, how to make you over-explain yourself. Nothing exposes you more than emotional attachment. But when you stop caring, the opposite happens. They panic, they beg, they overthink everything, they reveal their intentions, they expose their insecurities. While you stand still, they fall apart. This isn't a game of morality, it's a game of dominance. Detachment isn't apathy, it's strategic indifference. You still think, you still observe, you still care selectively, but you refuse to overinvest. You refuse to hand people the tools to break you. When you remain indifferent, you become unpredictable, and unpredictable people are dangerous. They create tension, they command attention, they generate respect without raising a voice. There is something irresistible about someone who cannot be moved by noise, criticism, or chaos. That kind of energy makes people want to follow you, obey you, fear losing you. Do not chase. Do not explain. Do not justify. Stand still. Let them come to you. Because the one who cares less doesn't just survive. He dominates. But you must understand this. Emotional detachment is not emotional emptiness. It's not shutting down your humanity. It's mastering it. While most people are enslaved by their reactions, you remain calm. While they leak their emotions like a cracked cup, you stay sealed. That's what gives you power. Because when you care too much, you leak your strategy. You reveal your weakness. You expose what matters to you. And once that information escapes you, it becomes ammunition for others. Manipulators smile at people who overshare, not because they're strong, but because those people are predictable. And predictable people are easy to control. Life doesn't reward emotional transparency. It rewards emotional concealment. You think people respect your vulnerability? No, they store it. You think they value your honesty? They study it. Every confession becomes a map of your soft spots. Every emotional outburst becomes a blueprint for how to control you. The one who cares less sets the rhythm of interaction. He chooses when to engage, when to withdraw, when to end the conversation, and when to walk away entirely. Because nothing can be used against someone who keeps his emotions behind a locked door. Reacting is slavery. Responding is power. And the man who learns to respond instead of react becomes untouchable. The powerful man calculates his responses. He sees the insult, but he doesn't flinch. He hears the lie, but he doesn't rush to clear his name. He watches chaos unfold around him, but his face doesn't move. That stillness, most people don't understand it, creates a psychological vacuum, a distance, and that distance becomes power. It forces others to step toward you, to fill the silence, to explain themselves, to try to win your attention. Meanwhile, you remain anchored and unmoved. This law applies everywhere: relationships, business, friendships, politics. The less you invest emotionally, the more leverage you automatically gain. If someone cries and you remain calm, they spiral. If someone yells and you stare back in silence, they crumble. If someone ignores you and you don't chase, they question their worth. In almost every human interaction, emotional control is a weapon. Your ability to stay unshaken when others are drowning in their own feelings becomes your advantage. But understand this: you are not heartless. You are simply selective. Selective about what enters your heart, about what deserves your reaction, about what deserves your peace. Most people throw their emotions into every situation like confetti. The man of power doesn't. He withholds, he observes, he keeps his center intact, and he lets discomfort work in his favor. Silence is a weapon. Indifference is armor. Detachment is strategy. These qualities are not signs of weakness. They're signs of mastery. Kings throughout history understood this. Conquerors lived by this. The people who rule any room live by it too. People chase what they cannot have. They respect what doesn't beg. They obey what they can't predict. When you become emotionally economical, when you stop giving your reactions away like freebies, you become enigmatic. And the enigmatic man is terrifying to others because they don't know where to aim. They don't know what matters to you. They don't know how to get to you. Look at the most respected men you know. They're never the loudest. They don't laugh the hardest. They don't react to every insult. They're reserved, disciplined, focused. They care selectively, not constantly. And because they care less, they move through life like centers of gravity. Other people orbit them, hoping for a glance, a word, a touch of approval. But the man who learns detachment never orbits others. He pulls them into his world. And yes, the world will shame you for this. They'll say you're distant, cold, emotionless. Let them. Their criticism is proof of your power, because weak men need emotional warmth to survive. They need validation. They need to be understood. But your emotions, they're not your leash. They're your weapons. You use them when needed, and only when needed. We live in a world desperate for attention, desperate for reactions, desperate for emotional energy. The one who withholds it controls it. The one who gives nothing forces others to give everything. They'll call it apathy. They'll call it coldness. But what they cannot comprehend is this. Detachment is the throne upon which power sits. You don't care less because you're numb. You care less because you're focused. Because you protect your energy. Because you know the cost of being emotionally available to everyone. Because you've seen how easily people will drain you if you hand them access to your inner world. People are controlled not by logic, but by emotion. When their feelings get involved, they stop thinking. They react. They panic. They cling. They rage. They chase. And in that chaos, they become predictable. You, on the other hand, must stay still. You must watch. Watch how easily people betray themselves when their emotions take over. Watch how transparent they become. Watch how they reveal every insecurity, every weakness, every desire, simply because you don't give them a reaction. Do you want to know who holds power in any room? Just look for the person who doesn't flinch when others panic. Look for the person who doesn't chase when others ignore him. Look for the person who stays still while others beg. That person leads. That person dominates. And that person is rare. To lead others, you must first learn to silence the need to be accepted by them. Acceptance is a trap. Validation is bait. Once someone knows you want approval, they can control you. They only have to withhold it. They only have to push a little. They only have to give you a taste of insult or rejection, and you'll bend, twist, or break. But the man who doesn't care, truly doesn't care, cannot be owned. That's what makes him dangerous. When you care too much, you place your peace in someone else's pocket. And once they know they can shake you simply by withdrawing affection, ignoring you, or giving you a little attention, they own you like a puppet. They pull, you dance. They push, you chase. They insult, you respond. They disappear, you panic. That is not strength. That is emotional slavery. The man who can walk away calmly, quietly, without theatrics, rewrites the whole script. He becomes the storm no one can map. He becomes the variable no one can predict. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they are too eager for affection. They want to be liked. They want to be understood. They want to be forgiven. These aren't strategies. These are weaknesses, luxuries, vulnerabilities. Power isn't earned through kindness. It's earned through mystery, through silence, through the refusal to reveal what rattles you, what excites you, what devastates you. Caring less isn't abandoning humanity. It's controlling your own. Imagine two warriors entering a battlefield. One fights for glory, approval, applause. The other fights because it's necessary, no emotions attached. Who is more dangerous? The man trying to impress dies first. The man with nothing to prove, he outlives them all. That's how your life must be. You move with focus, not emotion. You choose discipline over impulse. You don't reveal desperation, even when you feel it. You don't reveal excitement, even when you're winning. You don't reveal pain, even when you're bleeding. You act with the same calm in victory and defeat. Detachment isn't lack of emotion. It's the mastery of emotion. You may feel deeply. You may love deeply. But no one gets to see the strings. No one gets to see what breaks you. No one gets access to your emotional blueprint. Because the moment they do, you've already lost. Your partner may leave. Your friend may betray you. Your rivals may plot against you. But you don't flinch. You don't beg. You don't collapse. You nod, turn around, and move forward. That silence, that stillness terrifies people more than any outburst ever could. There is something haunting about a man who does not react. In a world addicted to drama, addicted to noise, addicted to validation, he becomes the ghost they can't read, the enigma they can't break. People will try to provoke you just to prove that they matter to you. They'll poke at your insecurities, push your boundaries, insult you, test you, because your reaction is their confirmation that they still have influence. So you must deny them that privilege. When they insult you, give them silence. When they threaten you, give them a calm stare. When they beg for a reaction, blink slowly and offer nothing. This is how the powerful speak. Through silence, not noise. To be feared is simple. To be loved is nice. But to be respected without raising your voice, that is an art. And that art begins with detachment. When someone fears losing your presence more than you fear losing theirs, you've already won. When someone knows you cannot be shaken, manipulated, or pressured, they fall in line. The man who can walk away from anything, love, wealth, friendship, admiration, becomes the man everyone chases. Not because he tries, but because he doesn't need to. His power isn't in his hands. It's in his mind. So understand this. Stop caring about who likes you. Start caring about who respects your distance. Stop chasing closure. Stop begging for apologies. Stop explaining your value. Instead, master your indifference, your calmness under fire, your silence after betrayal. These are your weapons. These are what make people question their own strength when they face you. And now we arrive at the greatest battlefield, relationships. This is where most strong men fall apart. Not in war, not in business, not in public, but in private, behind closed doors, in the softness of affection, in the comfort of love. You think love is innocent? No. Love is war wearing honey on its tongue. Every relationship has a power imbalance, and the one who cares less always wins. You've been taught to open your heart, to be vulnerable, to communicate everything. These sound noble, but in reality they are traps when used blindly. Because in every relationship, romantic, familial, or social, someone eventually holds the leash. And it's never the one who reveals their heart first. It's never the one who confesses everything. It's the one who waits, who observes, who speaks last, who holds back just enough that the other person leans in. You must become that person. Master emotional distance even when you're physically close. You cannot be emotionally enslaved if you do not depend on anyone. That is the golden rule. The moment you need someone, need their validation, their affection, their presence, you lose power. Dependency is the fastest path to weakness. They don't control you through strength. They control you through your desire to be loved. People use sweet words, promises, affection, and comfort as tools of manipulation. Not all intentionally, but tools nonetheless. When they know you crave reassurance, they withhold it to gain power. When they know you fear abandonment, they weaponize silence. But the man who cares less, he doesn't bend, he stays calm. He walks away if needed. And when he walks away, the other person breaks, because they cannot control what they cannot influence. Your strength lies not in how much you can love, but in how much you can walk away without hesitation. People will ask for sacrifices, emotional labor, endless explanations. They will try to pull pieces of your soul in exchange for temporary peace, and you must decline calmly, firmly, without drama. You were not born to serve someone else's comfort. You were born to rule your own reality. If they call you cold for this, fine. Ice is harder than fire. Consider the serpent. It does not roar. It does not chase. It waits. It observes. It strikes only when necessary. You must adopt this same energy in your personal relationships. Don't over-explain yourself. Don't justify your ambition. Don't offer emotional transparency to people who haven't earned the right to hold it. The more people understand you, the easier it becomes for them to manipulate you. So remain a mystery even to those closest to you, and when betrayal comes and it will show no reaction. They expect rage. They expect tears. They expect you to fight for them, to beg, to cling, to ask why. Deny them that satisfaction. Say nothing. Walk away. That silence will haunt them longer than any argument ever could. Because true power isn't revenge. True power is indifference. Revenge is an emotional reaction. Indifference is judgment from a higher plane. It tells the other person, you are not important enough to disturb my inner world. And that cuts deeper than any revenge ever will. When others let their feelings lead them, you must let your mind guide you. Emotions make people impulsive. They make people desperate. They make people predictable, and predictable people are easy to defeat. But you must not chase closure. You must not beg for understanding. You must not explain your worth to someone who cannot see it. Stop romanticizing connection. Connection is a tool. Use it, but never bow to it. Be capable of love. Absolutely, but only from a position of power. Give affection, but never give your core. Be kind, but never become emotionally available to everyone. Listen, but never reveal too much. The moment someone feels they have complete access to your soul, they begin shaping it for their benefit. You must become a fortress, strong on the outside, silent within, impenetrable, detached. Your worth is not in your ability to please or comfort people. Your worth is in your refusal to be controlled by them. And when people realize they cannot mold you, when they see that you are unmoved, they will either fear you or worship you. Both outcomes serve you. So let this become your creed. Never let love make you weak. Never let friendships dull your edge. Never let someone else's tears pull you away from your path. You are not a therapist. You are not a savior. You are a strategist. And in the grand game of power, the emotionally neutral always dominate those drowning in sentiment. Remember this: the man who cares less is never lost because he is never attached. And the man who cannot be owned cannot be broken. Control is never granted, it is claimed. And it is claimed not through screaming, not through chasing, not through begging to be understood, but through the ability to stand silent while others fall apart. The man who can walk through emotional storms without blinking becomes the one everyone fears, respects, and follows. People will call you arrogant, unreachable, cold. Let them. Weak men need warmth to function. Powerful men generate their own heat. They don't seek comfort, they create tension. They don't chase reassurance, they stand firm. They don't seek permission, they move forward with purpose. When you care less, you stop letting the outside world dictate your inner world. The storm may rage outside, but inside you remain calm. And that calm is what makes people fear you, because they cannot move you. They cannot read you. They cannot control you. Look at the people who command real respect. They're not the ones chasing connection. They're the ones too rare to reach, too disciplined to be played with, too centered to be thrown off balance. They are not mirrors. You cannot see yourself in them. They are walls. You crash into them. And here is the paradox. The less you care, the more people obsess over you. They are drawn to your silence. They chase your attention. They overanalyze your indifference. Why? Because most people are addicted to being needed. When you refuse to need them, they crumble. They try harder. They give more. They bend. They break. Meanwhile, you remain unmoved. This is how the powerful win, not by overpowering others, but by mastering themselves. Freedom is the highest form of power, and emotional sovereignty is the foundation of that freedom. When no one can trigger you, when no one can bait you, when no one can pull you into emotional chaos, you become untouchable. Your detachment becomes your armor. Your ability to walk away becomes your sword, and your silence becomes your crown. You must stop explaining yourself. Every explanation invites judgment. Every justification invites manipulation. The moment you start defending your choices, your path, or your ambition, you hand someone else the authority to validate or devalue them. Stop giving people that power. Most won't understand your decisions because they were never meant to walk your path in the first place. Let them judge. Let them gossip. Let them misunderstand. None of it changes your direction. You weren't born to be understood. You were born to be respected. Control isn't about dominating others. It starts with mastering yourself. Ask yourself, can you delay gratification? Can you stay silent when others expect you to react? Can you say no without explaining why? Can you choose discipline over impulse, future over comfort, strategy over emotion? If you can, you don't just win, you dominate. Detachment doesn't mean emptiness. It means intelligence. It's the understanding that nothing is permanent. Not their love, not their praise, not their anger, not their loyalty. And because nothing is permanent, nothing should have the power to manipulate your inner peace. Most people ride emotional roller coasters built by others. They're lifted by compliments, broken by insults, controlled by silence, and defeated by rejection. But you are not most people. You must build your own internal foundation. Calm, steady, unshakable. Let others react. You respond. Let others chase. You choose. Let others beg for attention. You remain focused. Be the one who cares less, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. You've seen what caring too much does to people. It blinds them, weakens them, chains them, makes them dance for approval. And you are not born to be anybody's puppet, especially not a puppet controlled by your own emotions. Rise above that. Observe with detachment. Move with intention. This is the Machiavellian way, ruthless, calculated, disciplined. And now, let's go deeper into territory most people refuse to confront. Your entire life sits on the battlefield of human emotion. In every room, every relationship, every negotiation, someone is trying to influence someone else. And the one who feels less always has the advantage. The one who can stay calm always sets the pace. The one who can remain silent always has leverage. Most people think power is loud, but power is quiet. Power is the man who looks unfazed while others lose control. Power is the one who doesn't rush to fill awkward silences. Power is the person who can let others emotionally unravel without offering comfort or apology. People call this coldness. But this is simply mastery. The truth is, most people aren't addicted to love. They're addicted to being needed. They want to feel important. They want to feel like someone else can't function without them. And when you strip them of that illusion, they spiral. Because they have no power left. This is why detachment is magnetic. It forces people to confront their own insecurities. When you don't react, they feel invisible. When you don't chase, they feel unworthy. When you don't explain, they feel foolish. So they try harder. They lean in. They invest more. And they do it without realizing that the more they try to pull you in, the further you pull ahead. You see, people crave certainty. And you, the detached man, deny them that certainty. You become the question they can't answer, the riddle they can't solve, the storm they can't map, and humans obsess over what they cannot predict. You must remain emotionally unpredictable, not dramatic, not chaotic, unreadable. That is how you gain control. Now let's talk about one of the most misunderstood truths. Silence is more powerful than anger. Absence is more powerful than presence. A calm stare is more powerful than a loud argument. A slow retreat is more powerful than a direct confrontation. Most men think power is about fighting every battle, but real power is choosing the battlefield, and you only choose correctly when your emotions aren't the ones making the decision. When someone disrespects you, stay silent. When someone lies about you, stay calm. When someone leaves you, let them go. When someone tries to provoke you, don't even blink. Your lack of reaction forces them to face themselves. And that is a much harsher punishment than anything you could say. Never underestimate the psychological impact of your silence. People project their fears onto it. They project their guilt, their insecurities, their doubts. Silence forces them to confront truths they spend their lives avoiding. They will replay the last thing you said. They will imagine the worst. They will crumble under the weight of not knowing what you're thinking. That is power. Understand another truth. The world is full of emotional thieves. People will drain you if you let them. Not because they're evil, but because they're desperate. Desperate to feel valued. Desperate for validation, desperate for someone to carry their emotional baggage. If you let them, they will hand you their insecurities like weights, and you will sink under the burden of problems that aren't yours. Detachment protects you from becoming the emotional storage unit for everyone around you. You don't need to save people. You don't need to fix them. You don't need to carry what they dropped. You don't need to respond to every message, soothe every emotion, or attend every emotional crisis. Your job is not to be available. Your job is to be sovereign. Emotional sovereignty means you choose what affects you. You choose what you care about. You choose who enters your inner world. You choose which emotions deserve your energy. And once you master that, no one can own you. No one can break you. No one can pull you into a battlefield you didn't choose. People will try to drag you into their chaos. Don't step into it. People will try to provoke you into losing control. Don't give them the win. People will try to guilt you into obedience. Walk away. When you withhold your emotional energy, you force people to meet you on your terms. That is the essence of power. The truth is simple. Most people are loud because they have no control. Most people are emotional because they have no discipline. Most people are reactive because they have no strategy. You, on the other hand, must embody the opposite. In a world addicted to emotion, you must be the one who stays still. In a world addicted to validation, you must be the one who remains silent. In a world addicted to chaos, you must be the one who stays focused. This is what makes you rare. This is what makes you respected. This is what makes you feared. And ultimately, this is what makes you free. Look closely at the strongest people in any environment: boardrooms, relationships, negotiations, friendships, even social circles. They're never the ones begging to be understood. They're never the ones oversharing. They're never the ones reacting to every shift in energy. They stand firm while others stumble. They remain calm while others shake. They speak less, observe more, and reveal nothing. They are powerful because their emotions do not rule them, and that is the state you must reach. When you care less, something profound happens. You stop allowing external storms to affect your internal weather. Someone can insult you, and you stay calm. Someone can leave you, and you stay focused. Someone can betray you, and you simply walk away. This isn't numbness, it's self-respect. It's understanding that your peace is too valuable to hand over to anyone, especially those who haven't earned your trust. The world is full of people who will try to control you by controlling your emotions. But when your emotions answer to you alone, no one else has power over your life. This is why emotional detachment is not cruelty, it's survival. People will claim you're heartless. They'll claim you're distant. They'll claim you've changed. Let them talk. Their opinions are simply reactions to losing influence over you. The moment someone realizes they can't manipulate you, they label you cold. But you're not cold. You're disciplined. You're sovereign. You choose what you feel and when you feel it. Most people can't understand that level of control, so they fear it. And that fear turns into respect. You must understand that neutral, calm indifference is more intimidating than anger, more confusing than silence, more powerful than shouting. When someone expects a reaction and gets none, their mind goes into overdrive. They analyze your silence. They question themselves. They lose balance. And you stay centered. This is psychological dominance without lifting a finger. People chase what feels rare. They obey what they cannot predict. They desire what they cannot fully understand. And nothing is more mysterious than a man who is not moved by the world's emotional games. When you become this kind of man, the emotionally sovereign man, you stop being a participant in drama. You become the observer. You stop being the one who seeks closure. You become the one who decides when the chapter ends. You stop being the one who reacts. You become the one who chooses. Your value rises because you are no longer easily accessible. You are no longer emotionally cheap. You are no longer controlled by praise or criticism. You rise above the noise. The world today teaches people to be open books. But open books get read, rewritten, and torn apart. Closed books, however, books that cannot be decoded at a glance, ignite curiosity, fear, and respect. Your mystery becomes your shield. Your silence becomes your strategy. Your detachment becomes your leverage. But here is the truth many refuse to accept. Detachment does not mean isolation. It means control. You can love, but from a steady foundation. You can connect, but without losing yourself. You can care, but without handing over your power. The problem isn't caring, it's caring recklessly. Caring without limits. Caring without strategy. Caring so hard that you lose your own center. You must never allow emotion to become your weakness. Emotion should serve you, not expose you. Imagine a ruler sitting on a throne. He can love his kingdom. He can care about his people. but he does not hand them his crown. In the same way, you can give pieces of yourself, but never the whole fortress. When you protect your inner world, you protect your destiny. And yes, many will feel threatened by your shift. People who once relied on your emotional reactions will try harder. They'll push, they'll test you, they'll accuse you of being distant to pull you back into emotional obedience. But do not break. Every time you stay calm, every time you remain unbothered, you reinforce your throne. Because the man who cannot be emotionally controlled becomes the one everyone subconsciously bows to. In every group, every relationship, every situation, the balance of power gravitates toward the person who cares less. Not because he's cruel, not because he's empty, but because his mind is not prisoner to the moment. He chooses his steps. He chooses his reactions. He chooses his path. You must be that man. Let others attach themselves to chaos. Let others drown in temporary emotions. Let others lose themselves in validation and insecurity. You move with discipline. You move with clarity. You move with intention. When others chase, you stay still. When others beg for attention, you remain focused. When others seek comfort, you seek strategy. And in the end, the one who controls himself controls everything around him. So hold to this truth. Care but never too quickly. Love but never without boundaries. Act but never without thought. Feel but never without discipline. Because the one who masters himself becomes untouchable, unbreakable, and undeniably powerful. You see now why the one who cares less wins. Not because he is heartless, but because he is sovereign. Because he cannot be owned. Because he refuses to be moved by the storms of others. And the moment you reach that level, people will not just respect you, they will orbit you. They will fear losing you. They will be magnetized by your silence. Because power doesn't chase. Power doesn't beg. Power doesn't explain. Power watches. Power chooses. And power always, always cares less. In the end, understand this. Life will never reward the man who scatters his emotions like seeds in the wind. It rewards the man who guards his internal world like a kingdom. You were not born to be tossed around by the moods, opinions, and expectations of others. You were born to build yourself into someone unshakable, someone whose value does not rise or fall based on anyone's approval. Detachment is not the death of feeling. It is the birth of control. When you learn to direct your emotions instead of bleeding them into every situation, you become someone others cannot toy with, someone they cannot predict, someone they cannot break. And once you reach this level of emotional sovereignty, you'll notice the world shifting around you. People treat you differently. They step carefully. They respect boundaries without you having to demand them. They sense your strength before you even speak. You become the man they don't want to lose, the man they can't manipulate, the man they can't replace. That is the power of caring less. So walk forward with calm fire in your chest. Move like someone who chooses, not someone who chases. Speak only when strategy demands it. Give only when you decide it matters. And hold your silence like a blade sharp, disciplined, and always under your control. Because the moment you stop letting the world pull on your emotions, you stop being controlled by it. You stop being reactionary. You stop being ordinary. You become rare. You become feared. You become free. And freedom, true inner freedom, is the final form of power.